There has recently been some huge news come out of Washington, and it could change the whole cannabis industry forever. We're hearing reports that President Donald Trump is preparing to reclassify marijuana as early as this coming week. Now, the plan is basically to move marijuana from a Schedule 1 down to a Schedule 3 drug. And in this video, we're going to also discuss one of the craziest things that the sweet reefs can do to you if you take too much of them. We're going to watch a video about that, so stay tuned. I'm Sean Watkins. I'm a CBD business owner who keeps up with this kind of news, and I like to tell other folks like you about it. But before we dive into both of these stories, make sure and smash that like button, subscribe if you want to stay up to date on these kind of breaking news situations. Now, without further ado, let's get into the story about President Donald Trump reclassifying the reefers.
But with the president wanting to reschedule the drug to a new classification. Now, it is currently scheduled as Schedule 1. Now, that's on par with heroin. Down to Schedule 3 is what the president wants to do, the same as Tylenol with codeine. So why is this time different? Well, sources have told me that the president is actively drafting an executive order to be issued as soon as Monday. Now, it would advise the DOJ and the DEA to move forward with reclassification. The White House so far saying no final decision has been made yet. Now, I did speak...
Oh, okay, so there's no official final decision. Nobody's like saying 100% that it's actually going to happen, but everybody seems to be talking about it, so I don't know. You do the math on that one.
This morning, though, with Tilray CEO Irwin Simon, one of the largest cannabis growers in the industry. He believed this time is different from past promises, telling me after many false starts, he is, quote, more optimistic this time around, adding he believes there will be change by the end of the year. Now, Carl, let's say we do get the executive order on Monday. What's next? Well, the DOJ and the DEA will publish a final rule. It'll then enter a 30-day waiting period for any challenges. We did just get a hemp ban in the government spending bill, so we know opposition is out there. And then any...
Oh, geez, we got hemp bans, but apparently they're going to also reclassify marijuana. So I don't exactly know how that whole deal works, but apparently that is a thing.
Would result in further delay of the process. So as it goes with cannabis, and as you mentioned off the top, 2 steps forward, possible 4 steps back. One cannabis lawyer, though, telling me that this is the beginning of a, quote, new era of public health policy, but that this would be a partial victory with legalization and regulatory hurdles still ahead. Still, major implications for health regulators, retailers, investors, banks, of course, and the like, as we always discuss when we get these cannabis headlines.
Yeah, because the whole deal about the banking and the research and all that stuff, that actually is really good because, you know, marijuana's been around for like a jillion years or whatever, but if you really look into any of the studies or the research that they have done on it, there basically isn't any, because they say, oh, well, we can't do that much research because, oh, it's not this, it's not that, it's not allowed, it's not legal, you know, and all this other stuff. So I think as far as the research side and the banking side, which will allow businesses that actually deal in, you know, this kind of thing to actually put money in banks, that'd be cool, I think. Also, let me know in the comments, what do you think about marijuana having been scheduled with heroin and cocaine as a Schedule 1? Like, do you think that it is as bad or as dangerous or as addictive as heroin and meth and cocaine? I'd love to know. So now, instead of marijuana being classified with, like I said, heroin and LSD and ecstasy and stuff like that, they're going to pretty much put it with like Tylenol and like some steroids. Now, as that clip mentioned, this isn't full legalization, and you won't necessarily be able to buy these products at somewhere like a gas station federally, but it opens the doors up to the banking and the huge tax breaks for businesses and, you know, like I said, most importantly, the medical research. Now, while the government is looking at, you know, loosening the restrictions, doctors in the ER are sounding the alarm on a bizarre condition spreading among long-term users. As access to cannabis grows, so does the potency. And for some heavy users, this has led to a condition the media is calling scromiting. Yes, that is a combination of screaming and vomiting. It sounds like an urban legend, but emergency rooms say it is very real, and here is what you need to know about the painful condition.
Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome causes people to become violently ill, and they're filling up emergency rooms across the area more than ever before.
Oh,
CBS 13's Angela Greenwood is here now getting answers on what's behind this sickness. Angela?
Well, Tony and Christina, you know that saying too much of anything can be a bad thing. Well, that's exactly what doctors say is happening in these cases. Too much pot and consumed for a long period of time is making these people sick.
But how much is too much? Let's see if we can actually get an answer here.
many, pot is therapeutic.
It helps a lot.
A form of pain management.
Inflammation relief, also as a sleep aid.
But doctors say too much of it is actually making pot smokers sick.
They're a wreck.
It was first diagnosed in 2004, but since recreational use of pot became legal in California, UC Davis ER Dr. Nick Sawyer says patients with Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, or CHS, are pouring into emergency rooms at high rates.
Oh, they're pouring
I'm seeing
in.
this 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh, geez, they're pouring in 2 to 3 times a week. He's seeing people in the emergency. I wonder how many people come in with, like, I don't know, opiate overdoses, heroin, fentanyl, etc. Somebody give me those numbers. Like, I bet you it's more than 2 or 3 times a week.
So what are the symptoms of CSH? Well, doctors say the telltale signs are severe abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting.
Is they're screaming and actively vomiting, and it's unnerving.
It was really concerning.
This man says his family friend suffered from CHS a while back.
It was too much, and they had nausea, vomiting. They thought the world was going to end.
The sickness typically stems from prolonged use of pot about 3 to 5 times a day for months or years.
Okay, hold on. So they say it's 3 to 5 times per day for years on end. Are there a lot of people out there who are actually smoking this much? Like, how many people do you know who smoke this much? Or have you ever known anybody? Or is it you? And if you have known somebody like this, or you yourself have experienced it, like, let me know in the comments. I really want to know, because I've never seen anybody experience this, and obviously I've never experienced it myself. So we've had a massive week here with all sorts of potentially big news from the executive branch on its way. So just keep your eyes peeled for all the future news. I want to hear from you guys. Are you excited about the rescheduling, or are you worried about the health effects like the CHS that we just saw in that old news video? Drop your thoughts below. If you found this update helpful, please smash that like button. It really helps our channel. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on future updates for stuff like this, which I'm obviously going to be doing. Now, obviously, the number one thing I think everyone should do, no matter what side you're on, is just relax. And speaking of relaxing, I actually recently made a video about how you should not relax and stop relaxing, because it could be bad for your health, especially if you're doing it wrong. And that video is right here. So if you're worried about, hurting yourself via relaxing, which everyone does, you should check that video out. And hopefully we see you guys in the next one.